Hi, Rosebuds. Happy Monday. It's the last day of March. I hope that all of you all have made it through the month a-okay with your sanity. It's been very rough on me. I can just tell you that every day it's like a roller coaster. I don't know if I have a job or if I'll have a job tomorrow. So it is very stressful for me, and I am so sorry that I haven't been giving y'all anything to talk about, watch, or discuss. That is my bad, and I will do better. I hope that you all caught the last Regal Rumble on Saturday over on the Cart Before the Horse channel. I will leave the link to that episode in the description box. It's very lively, very entertaining, and I feel like you all, if you don't watch what goes on Saturdays over on the Cart Before the Horse channel, I feel like you guys will enjoy it, and it'll definitely get you through the day, get you, you know, if you're delivering on the road, it'll definitely get you through your next stops with lots of laughs and giggles. So I promised y'all a video about a woman and her dogs, and I'm still going to give y'all that video. I just wanted to talk about this today. We're going to be talking about Dr. Umar again. The last live that I did, we spoke about Dr. Umar, and I said at after that live that we were going to follow up with Dr. Umar to see if he's made good on his promise with his second child's mother. Now he's calling her, instead of Mrs. Vegan, he's calling her evil vegan. So I think that there's been some kind of developments behind the scenes because he's made another video. But before we get into that video, I want to talk about what Dr. Umar said to the gentleman sitting here and the two other gentlemen that you'll see in a minute. They are with the Daily Wrap Up crew. They have a podcast on YouTube. I've checked out a few episodes of theirs, and definitely the Cart Before the Horse, Mr. Gavin X and Mr. Walker have also covered them. So they have good content. If you all are interested in checking them out, I'll also leave the link to this video in my description. Please go and give them a thumbs up, a like, and possibly even share their content with someone that you know that might enjoy it. Okay, so you know what's going on with Dr. Umar. Dr. Umar is having drama with his daughter. Okay, she exposed him maybe a couple of weeks ago, and this situation with them has just been snowballing, and it just doesn't seem to get any better. And I, as a step parent to a little girl who is now almost 25 years old, there were a lot of things that I identified with in hearing his story about how he was ostracized from his child's life. Okay, like this happened with my husband. This was something that we went through constantly. I married him when she was 6, and we dealt with drama with the child's mother until the child came to live with us at 16. And then we had drama even then because they didn't like the rules that we set in our house. It was a very contentious relationship. And even now, the relationship between me and my stepdaughter is non-existent. And it's somewhat the same way for her father. She just refuses flat out to talk to us. She's kind of adopted her mother's thoughts and feelings towards us. It's a very sad, unfortunate situation, but that's another reason why this strikes a chord within me, because it takes two people to raise a baby, but after the baby is here, it's really monitored and guarded by the one person, which is the mother. Okay, so if the relationship between you and the mother don't work out, then you're just SOL, and that's shit out of luck. Because they'll always be fighting, and it just makes for a bad relationship for everybody, the child's sibling, your current wife or your current husband. Everybody gets pulled into the negativity, and it just never seems to get better. I at least I haven't witnessed it. Although I have seen lovely blended families, it just is not the case most of the time that the two parents can co-parent in an amicable way. Okay, so we're going to start with this video, then we're going to flip over to Dr. Umar, and then I will let Sadia Khan, she is a psychologist. I believe she is Muslim, and she seems to have a very good understanding of the relationships dynamic, or the relationship dynamic between men and women. Okay, and she speaks about it often. All right, so I'm going to let this video play a little bit while giving you all some commentary in between as I flip between each video. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let me start the video. Here we go.
Obviously, a big thing, obviously, we spoke about the gender wars, earlier. Obviously, there's a lot of conversation nowadays about, the value of what a woman brings and the value of what a man brings in a relationship. And now there's a lot more rhetoric from our women that we hear is, I'm strong, independent, I don't need no man, right?
So that's pain speaking, though.
Right.
Because most Black women know they will never get a man. A Black woman can have sex whenever she wants.
Right.
Because she's beautiful. She can have a bed mate, but to have a soul mate, she may never get. I have two daughters, 11 and 20, right? My oldest will be 21 this week. Statistically, right? There's a strong chance my daughter could be one of those. I hope she's not. She could be one of those who never get a husband, because only 1 out of 4 gets a husband. You see that? So when a Black woman says, I don't need a man, that is a reaction to the reality that I may not get a man.
So why not preach? Because I understood, you're obviously against interracial relations when it comes to Black men with Black women. With white women.
With all women. You should only be with the Black woman.
And you will say, well, if you can't find a good woman in America, there's
somewhere else.
In Africa.
Absolutely.
So why not teach that same rhetoric to our women? Like, if you feel
I tell sisters all the time, go to Africa. So I know sisters who marry. I just spoke with a sister. She invited me to the wedding. She just married a brother from the continent.
So, but instead of saying they will never get married,
I'll take sisters to Africa who married brothers they met in Africa.
Right.
So yeah,
I think there's plenty. I think there's obviously plenty of Black men,
yes,
Black women.
So and what I also tell Black women, if you're going to go get you an African man from the continent,
right,
you're going to have to understand that the way in which you talk to Black men in America will not be tolerated over there.
Why the fuck is it tolerated? It's not tolerated here. That's what we're trying to tell them.
Well, over here, I want to say this to us, though. Because we try to act like the way sisters treat us doesn't have a history that we are not at least partly responsible for.
Now, this is the reason why we are doing this video today, Rosebuds. It's because of this statement that he made right here. In the latest video that he's uploaded on his YouTube channel that we'll be looking at in just a moment, he talks about how each of his baby's mothers are similar to each other, that each of his baby's mothers have ostracized him. This is a man who picked both of these women and procreated with both of these women. So when he's talking right here, he's projecting. And it's easy to see that. Before I saw the video today, I always thought he was projecting. I always thought that the way he was speaking to those young men on the podcast was the way he wished somebody would have spoken to him. Okay, because this is all his situation, and now it's all come out in the wash. Okay, so listen to what he said. He's saying that women treat men this way because men dog them out, is essentially what he's saying. Okay, listen.
Let's be honest. The black woman has had to hold down the black house by herself, although imperfectly. She's had to do it by herself since the mass incarceration of black males began in the 1970s. You understand me? Most of our children are raised by a single mother right now. And it has been that way for about 50 years. So when a sister says, I don't need a man, because she couldn't find one strong enough to hold her down. Or when you meet a woman and you say, sister, I'm strong enough to be your man. You ain't got to work or you ain't got to pay the bills or whatever. Pull back. I got you. And she can't do it because all the other men before you who disappointed her. So what I'm saying is, black men, we got to be patient with our women because we created that personality. We created that. And then
we created that personality. So he's saying to us, he created the monster baby mamas that he has today. He is the reason why his daughter, little Smurfette, outed him on the internet earlier this month because of him.
We want to act like we didn't play a role.
We have to be held accountable for their poor selection.
No, you have to be held accountable. No, you have to be held accountable because they have a poor selection. See, what you're saying, you're selecting a poor mate. And what I'm saying is they don't have much to select one, so of course she's going to end up with a poor mate. And why is she going to end up with a poor mate? Because we as black men are not raising black boys to be the men that our women need. We are.
So this annoyed me. It annoyed me because he's talking about black men not raising their sons when he's a black man that has said, and I'm going to let his words speak for him. He said that he hasn't raised his daughter since she was 10 years old. That he was in her life, the firstborn, the daughter that just outed him, that he was in her life up through her being 10 years old, and the mother was playing games with him. He couldn't find her. She wasn't where she was supposed to be when he was supposed to pick her up. And he is a black man with black daughters. So do the black daughters not matter? That annoyed me. Raise your children, whether they're girls or boys, or don't procreate with women that are going to ostracize you from your children. This whole thing with the Daily Wrap-Up crew was just one big word vomit of him trying to coach and counsel his own bad decisions and his own bad behavior, in my view, because this would have been the perfect opportunity with these three young gentlemen to talk about what he's actually going through now. Him being able to say that I'm being ostracized by the mothers of my children because I didn't marry them, because I didn't make honest women out of them, would have been a better way to talk about what they're discussing here. Not that there aren't deadbeat black men that aren't taking care of their children. But he never has come across until recently as being a deadbeat to me. It just seems that this whole thing with the Daily Wrap-Up crew was counterproductive to what was actually going on in his life and what we see now. And I wonder how the Daily Wrap-Up crew, I would love to interview them and ask them a few questions about how they feel about what's going on with Dr. Umar now. because they did not agree with what he was saying, and nor should they have agreed with it. It was straight bull crap.
Not. They out there killing themselves right now. What we doing about it? Unemployed black males, what we doing about it? Pants sagging, weed smoking, what we doing about it? Black men are not raising black boys to be the men our community needs. That is 100% our fault. What I'm saying,
maybe it's because the mothers of those black boys are ostracizing the fathers from doing their job as a man. Maybe that is the case, because that seems to be what is happening to you now, Dr. Umar. And when the gentlemen on the panel were giving you pushback to say that, you met them with vitriol and told them that it was their fault, that they need to do better, that they need to try harder. You're going to talk about how you tried with your daughter when she was 10 years old. And it broke my heart to hear you be that open and that honest about, feeling ostracized, and, that it broke my heart. But where was that man that was being ostracized on this podcast? It's like talking out of both sides of your neck.
is she got a right to be angry with us. She got a right to be angry.
So he's saying his baby's mother, number one, has a right to be angry with him because he probably dogged her the hell out. Let's be honest, right? I can imagine that Dr. Umar, he's not an ugly man. And HQ and I have already discussed how when he repeats himself over and over and over, we become hypnotized by the spells he's casting with his words. So we know he got a good mouthpiece. I'm sure he has plenty of women in his phone that he can keep warm at night,
with us. We have not been on our job as black men. If the men are the providers, what have we been providing for our community? I'm not speaking you individually.
Yes.
Because you may be a damn good father. You may be a damn good father. You may be a damn good father. But guess what? What are we doing for the community? What are we doing for the children who don't have a father? You don't think the black woman got a right to be angry when she's been raising 2/3 of the kids by herself for 50 years? And the minute she raised her voice, we say she's not humble enough. She had to become masculine to survive the rape, the molestation, the domestic abuse. Are you telling me you can't see how we created that?
I understand that, but she needs to be
we was
more
loving
selective.
our women. And
that is just a step too far, right? That's a step too far, because that, of course, those instances, that he just rambled off, that there are men in society of every walk of life that do those horrible things to women. But let's be real here. Is that 80% of the men that are being ostracized from their children? Are they doing all of those things to their baby's mother? And Sadia Khan is going to speak on that. She's going to speak on the women that have babies with men that are abusive in those ways, and how it was a choice that they made. They selected that man. That man abused them, and then they selected to have that man's baby, right? That man kept abusing them. And then for whatever reason, they got smarter. They didn't want their children to deal with that kind of abuse, so they left. But when we talk about those kinds of instances of abuse, what are the statistics of it happening a second time with a step parent? Because getting away from the abuser doesn't fix the picker, doesn't fix the mother's picker, her ability to select a better man. When we watch Kendra G and we hear women talking about their lifestyles over the course of their 3 babies' fathers, their 4 babies' fathers, their 5 babies' fathers, they say that they pick bad men. How is that the father's fault? Can somebody tell me how a woman's ability to pick for herself and to keep picking wrong, how is that my husband's fault? That his baby's mother picked a man that deleted women off the street. My stepchild's half brother, little brother, his father is serving life in prison because he deleted a young woman. Now, this lady will go on and tell everybody of, how much of a bad parent he was and how he sucks and all this stuff. But she picked my husband. And not only did she pick my husband, she picked the second baby's father that came in and did the abuse to all the children that were in the home, including his own. Then when she left him, he ended up deleting a young woman. And now he's serving life in prison for it. So that picker, right? You can leave the man and you can get the hell away from him. You can leave Georgia and go to West Virginia. You can leave Georgia. You can go to North Carolina. But that doesn't fix your picker. Your picker is broken. And they always say, I have to protect my child. I have to protect my child and do what's best for my child. The best thing for your child is for you to give your child to the father. Because what are the statistics about men raising children? What's the school to prison pipeline? What's that ratio when it's the man raising the child versus the woman raising the child? Because we hear about those statistics in these spaces too. And I'm not going to quote every freaking statistic. For you all that don't believe what I'm saying, go and get the statistics for yourself. Read them. Read them before you leave me a nasty comment about what I'm saying. Read the statistics of children raised by their fathers versus raised by single mothers. And then go out and read the statistics and the data that tells you how those children fare after they leave their mother's house or after they leave their father's house. Go read that. The researchers that are doing that research, they don't have a dog in the fight. They're telling you these things because this is like what is out there. This is family court. This is police reports, right? This is abuse hotlines. This is all documented information. This isn't something that we have to guess. We don't have to guesstimate it. It's all there for us, okay? I'm going to let this play on some more, and then we're going to listen to, we're going to skip ahead to the future, to the video that Dr. Umar just posted, where, again, he's talking about his baby's mothers.
And taking care of our women, do you think she would be like that? That personality has a history.
If she's picking Pookie and Ray Ray instead of
you're making her a scapegoat.
No, she's picking a scapegoat.
No.
There's good quality men that they ignore.
Why she even got it? Why is there even a Pookie in the selection?
You gotta ask her that.
No. I'm gonna tell you why there's a Pookie in the selection.
What?
Because black men have abandoned black boys and have allowed social media, white media, athletes, and rappers to raise them. That's why she with Pookie. If we never allow Pookie to develop, she would not have a Pookie. If we're going to be men, the first thing we got to do is take responsibility for why our women feel the way they feel.
I can hear that.
I'm not saying that they're right to disrespect, because even if a woman disrespects me, right? That still don't give me a right to disrespect her because she's still the queen of the community. Even if she's not acting like it, I'm going to give her that respect. But when I hear brothers talk like this discourse we having now, we act like we don't understand.
No,
there's reasons for that shit.
I do understand. Women are so valuable. You get what I'm saying? Like, I think women ground men and help them, you know, propel to the next level. I think men get further in life with a woman, right? But if I'm a hardworking man, but I'm only looked at as resources, and then she's ready to jump on Tom, Dick, and Harry because he got flash, he's shining a little bit more, his access to money is quicker than mine. It's kind of hard to have that.
Well, no, one, I agree with you, but that's not all sisters.
No, it's not.
If you're constantly running into that type of woman, then the problem is you, because you're attracting a certain low vibrational energy. Why?
Ooh, Dr. Umar, did you just say that? Ooh, I feel like that is a great point to segue into the next video. I can't with him. I just cannot with him. He is just too much. He is too much. Okay, so we're going to get into the next video. Hey, y'all. Let me get that video pulled up for you. Okay. Yeah, so I can't believe him. I cannot believe him. He's sitting up here acting like these men don't have valid points for the stuff he's going through in his life. I'm pretty sure that he feels like he would have been the best father if somebody would have let him, right? But they didn't let him. They ostracized him from his daughter. So here we go, y'all. We're going to share this next video. You guys are going to be like, what? So we're going to share screen. Here we go. The video is called Dr. Umar Claps Back, Exposing the Lies. Oh my goodness. Okay, let me get my... Okay, this is a little better. All right, and here we go.
Sweden 2 weeks ago. Getting ready to go to an event. My eldest daughter, I got notice that my eldest daughter, quote unquote, exposed me on her TikTok. She made plenty of allegations, most of which I dealt with from Sweden. For some reason, every time
Shout out to Sweden. My mentor is there. Hey, Paul. Hey, Luna.
I leave the country, I always fall under attack. I don't know what it is, but every time I leave the country, I fall under attack. But anyway, baby Smurf decided to slander my name with a bunch of lies. I address most of it, but I'm going to address the rest of it right now. And then, because I think I've said enough about Mama Smurf. I think I said enough about Mama Smurf. So after I deal with baby Smurf's lies, I'm going to then discuss the evil vegan baby mama number 2. The evil vegan baby mama number 2. The evil vegan baby.
You see, that's why I'm doing this video today, because it seems like since my last live, there has been some developments in the background, because just a week ago, he was trying to be respectful and he was calling her Mrs. Vegan. This week, she is evil vegan.
Baby mama number 2. I gave her 2 weeks to get in touch with me. I messaged her through Instagram. I'm sure everybody in Philly told her, you got 2 weeks. This man wants to see his child who you've been holding for 13 years. For 13 years. For 13 years. And if I don't see her, I'm going to tell the world why I don't see her. So we have come to the deadline for the evil vegan to manifest my daughter. And so now we're going to get into this. And I want to say that this is a lesson. Let this be a lesson to all young Black men, all brothers of the Ifa Tunde Army. I want you to learn from my mistakes so you don't repeat them. Because even though I'm going to tell the truth today about what both of my daughter's mothers have done to isolate me from their life, at the end of the day, as a man, I have to take full responsibility, because if I never impregnate them, as a man, I have to take full responsibility, because if I never impregnate them, as a man, I have to take full responsibility, because if I never impregnate them, they can never weaponize my children against me. Those women denied their daughters the right to have their biological father because I did not marry them. You've already heard the story of Mama Smurf. I'm going to leave Mama Smurf out of it to the extent that I can, but you ain't heard the story about the evil vegan. And if you think Mama Smurf's story was crazy, wait until you hear the evil vegan story. If you thought what Mama Smurf did was crazy, wait until you hear what the evil vegan did to keep me from my child's life. Before we deal with baby mama to number 2, the evil vegan, before we deal with baby mama number 2, the evil vegan, I want to go through Baby Smurf's initial rant. I want to go through Baby Smurf's initial rant, her very, 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 very first TikTok. I want to decode this. It won't take long. This won't take long. And then we'll get into the evil vegan. Now, let me say something. Taking responsibility. I know for a fact that the evil vegan situation happened just under 10 years after the first situation happened, because I had not learned my lesson. As much as I suffered, as much as I was punished with Baby Smurf, I had not learned my lesson. Because if I learned my lesson that the ancestors wanted to teach me, the evil vegan would have never ended up in the same situation. Both of my daughter's mothers are the same age. Both of my daughter's mothers are the same complexion. Both of my daughter's mothers are born in the same month. Both of my daughter's mothers were on birth control until they decided to conceive without making me aware that they stopped using the birth control. And both of my daughter's mothers wanted to get married as a result of pregnancy. I'm telling you, the situations are almost identical. The situations are almost identical. Same age, same city, same complexion, same birth month. Both were on birth control, stopped taking it, didn't tell me. Both had another agenda. They names even rhyme. They names even rhyme. They name, in fact, Mama Smurf, the evil vegan, and Baby Smurf, all three of their names rhyme with each other. Mama Smurf, the evil vegan, and Baby Smurf, all three of their names rhyme. But with that being said, let's get into this. Baby Smurf started out her initial TikTok rant. She said, I'm not trying to get clout. I'm not trying to get clout. I think we already know that she was trying to get clout. Then she said, I wanted to get to know my sister. Baby Smurf said, I wanted to get to know my sister. Baby Smurf, if you only wanted to get to know your sister, why did it take you until the age of 22 to want to get to know your sister? Why didn't you want to get to know your sister in high school? Why didn't you want to get to know your sister at 18?
Why don't the sisters know each other anyway? It's weird. But if you haven't been able to be a parent and get either of your children over to your house, then how are they going to have a relationship? So asking her why she didn't go do it when she was 18, why she didn't do it when she was 21, why is she doing it now? I feel like that's silly and childish, and it's more of the reason why he's in this situation is because he just doesn't know when to stop, right? It's like the problems that you're having is because of the mothers of the children. Whatever the baby Smurf is doing is just a projection of the issues that you and the mother of hers have. So really what you need to be doing is talking to baby Smurf's mom, which probably won't happen because you keep outing baby Smurf on the internet. You keep talking at her through the internet when you need to be talking to her through her mother. The same way that you were just grandstanding on that podcast that we just watched from the Daily Wrap-Up crew. That's the righteousness you need to have on the phone with baby Smurf's mother. Doing all of this is just adding more fuel to the fire. And eventually you're going to end up getting baby Smurf's mom and the evil vegan lady together to work against you. So I feel like this is childish of him, even though he's making great points and all of this could be true. It's the way that you're handling it is not alpha male, because it really doesn't matter that when she wants to meet her sister or how she came about wanting to meet her sister. She has a sister that she doesn't know, and that's ratchet and ghetto and stankin'.
Why didn't you get to want to know your sister at 19?
Why did you impregnate two women around the same age with almost the same sounding names? Like we could go back and forth and play tennis about why people did whatever they did and when it doesn't matter. It's all happened already.
About 20? What about 21? The truth of the matter is, baby Smurf, this wasn't about your sister, and it wasn't about your father. It was about you slandering me to build a platform so you can get struggle streams. And you only brought my youngest daughter into this situation so it looked like you had a justified reason for slandering my name. That's why you did this. This wasn't about...
And that could be very valid. But she's 22 years old. When you were 22 years old, Dr. Umar, were you the picture of perfection when it came to maturity? And we didn't have the internet like they have the internet now. So lucky for us, sucks for you now, but you wouldn't be in the situation with baby Smurf had you not been out there on the prowl, knocking women up out of wedlock. Just like you were just talking to the gentleman on the Daily Wrap-Up crew about how they perpetuate the evilness within the women because the women are raising the children on their own. The women are choosing to raise the children on their own to get back at men like you, because men like you hurt them. Because men like you make promises for things that are never going to come. I'm pretty sure they wanted to get married because that was something that they thought would happen with you since you weren't using protection and getting them knocked up.
About my daughter, and it wasn't about me. This was about you seizing upon an opportunity to launch your struggle streamer career. I've been posting women on my social media, doing Umar voiceovers. I was just on Drewski. Episode got what? 10 million views in 2 weeks, 6 million views in a day. You were thirsty, and you simply used me as your stepping stone.
See, that's so, that's so distasteful. This is a serious situation, and you're talking about the views that you got on another podcast. You're talking about Drewski. You're talking about, see, these are all projections of the things that got you tripping inside. You're tripping inside because you were just going viral for all of these other things when she interjected herself and stopped your shine. That's what this feels like to me. You're mad at baby Smurf because she cut out some of your shine. And that is just icky. It's gross to me. It makes me feel bad for baby Smurf.
But then baby Smurf went on to say, I asked if he had her number and he never responded. Everybody saw the screenshot. Everybody saw the screenshot. You text me from an email address. And I asked you, baby Smurf, why are you not texting me from your phone if this is my child who pops in and out of my life randomly, never taking me up on an invitation to meet with me? You lied to the people. You lied your ass off on that TikTok rant. You said you just want a conversation with your dad. Well, the last time you texted me, did I not invite you to go eat, have dinner? Let's meet up. The time before that, did I not invite you to meet? Let's have dinner, meet up. The time before that, did I not invite you to meet? Let's have dinner, let's meet up. Every time you've texted me over the past decade, every time you've texted me, I've asked you to see you. And every time I ask to see you, you ghost me and disappear. You stop texting all together. I know why. Because you already told me. You remember you texted me and said, my mother doesn't want me communicating with you? You remember that? You said, my mother doesn't want me communicating with you. So I know why you never followed me up on your invitation. But why did you lie to the people and act like you've been trying to find me when you've clearly had my number for 12 years? You've been texting me since your mother pulled you out of my life at the age of 10. You told the people I've never been in your life. I've been in your life until the age of 10. And that's when your mother stepped up her hide and go seek agenda because family court would never punish her. And I don't care what the people got to say. I got paperwork. She was never fined. She was never threatened with a fine. She was never incarcerated. She was never threatened with incarcerated. She was never stripped of her child. She was never threatened with being stripped of her child. Family court in Philadelphia did nothing about her violating the order over and over and over and over again. And when you became 10 years old.
So do you see what he went through with his baby Smurf? And when he sat on the Daily Wrap-Up Cruise podcast, he acted like none of that has ever happened to him. And if that can happen to Dr. Umar with his daughters, Dr. Umar can't understand how that can happen to men with their sons. This is like the problem, Dr. Umar. It's like you talk out of both sides of your neck, and you know that there are two sides to every story, right? Like the men on the podcast, the Daily Wrap-Up Crew, they were trying to get you to understand that even when the man is making the best effort he can make, the woman still finds a way to put a wrench in the plan and ostracize them from their children. Just like that happened to you. It's the same thing that happened to you. I don't understand, how you're sitting here now frustrated and defending yourself. It would have been nice to see you talk like that with the young men that you were sitting around that might not have made these bad decisions yet. Like, this is what we're talking about, like gatekeepers. Like, you were gatekeeping. You were gatekeeping your reality, your lived reality. When you were on that podcast with them, you were grandstanding. You might do a lot for the community, but you got baby Smurf out here feeling like you have done nothing for her. I'm sure that doesn't feel good, but it would have been nice to see some of this authenticity on that podcast with those three young Black gentlemen. I feel like that is such a missed opportunity for you to have done what you're telling everybody else to do. That's what makes it so disheartening. You're telling everybody else to be about community, but when you're in the community, you're not being truthful about what you're experiencing in that community as well. You're a part of the Black community. These women that you've procreated with are Black women, yet you got up there and you were grandstanding and you were talking about how Black women have every reason in the world to treat y'all poorly, and they don't. Just because you decided not to marry them, that doesn't give them the right to hold your child against you, to ostracize you from your child, to prevent you guys from having a relationship. So it's just like it kind of like grinds my gears that you're up here and I can see the frustration and hear it in your voice, but when you were on the daily wrap-up crew, you were showing them nothing but your ass to kiss, telling them that the way they were thinking and the way that they were feeling was wrong. And it's not wrong. Just like it's not wrong for you now.
I still remember it like it was yesterday. When you became 10 years old and you used to come to my home, I saw in your face how much you didn't want to be there. I saw in your face. And do you know why you didn't want to be there? You already told the people, baby Smurf. You said because he was strict. You said because he was strict. Baby Smurf, I wasn't strict. All I asked you to do was take your time and do your homework. And when I checked your homework, when your homework wasn't correct, fourth grader, and when I checked your homework and your homework wasn't correct, fourth grader, I would make you do your homework over. I would make baby Smurf correct the errors in her homework, which is what any academically inclined parent should do. You did not want to do your homework at all. You did not want to do your homework over. Your homework was sloppy. It was lazy. It was rushed through. And I could tell back then that your mother was not an academic parent. I could tell then. I knew you was not being raised right, because there's no way in hell a fourth grader produces this type of homework. There's no way in hell a fourth grader has to do a homework over and over and over again. I had to make you do your homework over because you didn't want to do homework at all. You can credit your mother for that. You can credit your mother for that. You can credit your mother for that. So I knew that you were going to ask your mother not to come back to my house. I knew it because you didn't want to do homework. We had a lot of fun. We went to the zoo. We went to the museums. I took you to New York City to the Broadway play. Anything you wanted, I bought you. We had fun, but you didn't want to do your damn homework. And with all due respect, my ancestors died so we can get an education. With all due respect, my ancestors died. I'll be damned if a child in my house think they're going to get away with not doing homework the right way. And so I knew when you went back to your mother, I might not never see you again, because now it was not only Mama Smurf who wanted to keep you away. Baby Smurf didn't want to come either. And I don't have to tell the parents on this live that sometimes when children can't get away with what they want to get away with, they'll just tell the other parent, I don't want to go over there no more. How many fathers know what I'm talking about? How many non-custodial mothers know what I'm talking about? How many fathers know what I'm talking about? How many non-custodial mothers know what I'm talking about when you are all about the academics and your lazy ass child is growing up in a lazy ass home where academics don't matter, and they come to your house and they got to do their homework the right way, and they so used to not doing the homework at all, so they tell the mother, I don't want to go over there no more. That's what happened. You and your mama made that decision.
Happened to me with a lady from West Virginia. She wanted to drive down here and fight me because we have rules in our house. You can't have grades lower than a C. You can't have C's and not go into tutoring because C's are not acceptable. Not in this house. If you want to stay here and eat here and have clothes here and Jordans here and iPads here and Beats by Dre here, C's are not acceptable. No Fortnite, no Roblox, none of that. We don't do that here. It doesn't go for my son. It wasn't going to go for my stepdaughter. So I feel him on every breath right here.
You were a child, so you should have had no authority in the situation. But I knew that once you told your mother I was too strict, I knew my days were numbered.
Right.
See, we got through kindergarten. We got through kindergarten. You see that? But we couldn't get through 4th grade. That was just too much. So you bailed out and your mother helped you bail out. And after 10 years of fighting your mother, first of all, I was in your life consistently until the age of 6 or 7. I was in your life consistently until about the age of 6 or 7. I was in your life consistently until about the age of 6 or 7. In fact, I had you more than your mother had you. I had you more than your mother had you. The first 5, 6 years of your life, I had you more than your mother had you. Oh, yes, I did. And I got all the paperwork. I had you more than she did. She was still the custodial parent on paper, but I had you more than her. I had you more than her. Okay? And when you lied and said he wouldn't drop me off, so my mom had to send the police to his house to get me. You lied and said he didn't drop me off, so my mom had to get the police to go to his house and get me. Guess what? Do you know why your mother had to bring the police to my house to come and get you? Do you want to know why your mother had to bring the police to my house? Because you're...
See, this is the part, these are the parts that are just cringe to me, because although I'm telling you all like a base, you know, I'm not telling you, you know, anything that isn't a broad issue between what's going on between me and my stepdaughter and my husband. Doing this, talking about the police, talking about when they had to get involved, like that's a step too far, right? Like some conversations you need to have in private and they don't need to be had on the internet, you know? Like I've said that to keep things at a amicable level, we would meet at fire stations so that everybody's safety, including my own, what could be had. You know, we wanted everybody safe and we didn't want any drama. But of course, we had no control of that because that was something that the baby's mother was always in control of. If it was going to be amicable or if it was going to be hostile, you know, that was always, you know, it was always the tone that she set. And we all had to acquiesce to what was going on with her. But do I get on here and say, oh, when we had to call the popo? No, that's a step too far. Talking about all of that little dirty laundry and getting down into the crux of it, that's not for us on the internet.
Your mother was not at the pickup point on time. Your mother often did not show up to get you, young lady, because she didn't want to be bothered. And I didn't need her, so I simply took you back home. I didn't need her, so I simply took you back home. Let me say that one more time. Your mother did not show up to get you. And when a parent doesn't show up to get their child, the other parent takes the child back home. Your mother knew that if she did that too much, I could go to court and probably get full custody. So she brought the police, making it look like I never dropped you off. I was there. She wasn't there. Your mother did that several times, not picking you up and then bringing the police to my house, probably because she was out doing her. Probably because she was out doing her and she didn't feel like coming to get you at the agreed upon time stated on the custody paperwork. So when she decided she was ready to come get you, she would bring the police to my house and make it look like I was breaking the law. Let's tell the truth. You said you asked for my youngest daughter's phone number. I don't have that. We're going to talk about the evil vegan in a minute. I don't have my youngest daughter's phone number. And if I did, you wouldn't get it. You wouldn't. I'm not introducing you to my baby girl. Me and you got to get reacclimated first. And from what I've seen from you, you have no business being around my youngest daughter. You are into lifestyles I don't agree with. Your mouth is filthy. Somebody sent me a video clip of you calling your younger sister, respect to the princess. Somebody sent me a video clip of you calling your 13-year-old baby sister on your mother's side a bitch. You called that girl a bitch just because she asked you to get off the live. She said, this ain't right. This is not how you do this. You told her to get the F-U-C-K out your room. You pushed her out your room, slammed the door, and called her a B, and yet you say you're supposed to be guiding my daughter. You're supposed to be a role model for my child. You are out of your mind. You are out of your mind. That is no role model at all. Calling little sisters B's, telling them to get the F out your room. You're no type of role model. You will not be around my child until you show yourself able and respectable and responsible enough to be around my child. Let's continue. You said, I'm 22. My dad has never been to any parties or graduations. I'm 22. My dad has never been to any parties or graduations. He has never been in my life. Excuse me? He has never been in my life. Excuse me? I've been in your life until the age of 10. When you got tired of doing homework and told your mother not to send you over there again. You got tired of doing homework and told your mother not to send you over there again. And when I went to your school to pick you up and you wasn't there twice in a row, when I went to your school to pick you up and you wasn't there twice in a row, that was it for me. That was it for me. Family court, in 10 years, family court failed to issue any type of sanctions against your mother for constantly and repeatedly violating the family court order. 10 years I fought. I got nothing. So
now, this is what he should have told the daily wrap-up crew, right? He fought for 10 years, and for 10 years, he has shit to show for it. I'm sure there are very many men, Black men out there with sons that have gone through this, right? I mean, come on now, y'all.
at that point, I said, this is a waste of your time. What is the definition of ignorance? Insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. For 10 years, I did the same thing over and over again, expecting to get a different result. I did the same thing over and over again for 10 years, expecting to get a different result, and I didn't. And at the age of 10, that's when I decided nothing more is going to come out of this. You have fought this with lawyers and without lawyers.
So right there, y'all, that was what the daily wrap-up crew was saying. How long, how much do the men have to fight? If you have to fight that much, like, come on, man. Nobody wants this constant negativity in their life. The old saying, mama's baby, papa's maybe. Women make it a maybe type situation when they ostracize the father from the child. And so when men walk away, whether that's from the woman or the Black community, can you fault them for it? I don't think you can, because you're asking men to do something that you couldn't even do for yourself after 10 years or 6 or 7 years or whatever the timeline is, Dr. Umar. You didn't fight until she was 22 years old. You stopped fighting when she was 10. So, in my opinion, this would have been a better discussion had with the 3 young gentlemen on the Daily Wrap-Up Cruise podcast. You could have been open, honest and forthright about what you experienced when they were talking to you about women picking poorly. It wasn't a time for you to bash them for what they've done or didn't do in their baby's mother's lives, because you, as the grownest man on the podcast, was going through it with 2 women and acted like you weren't, acted like you had the best situation out of all the situations that a man could be in with 2 women and 2 children born out of wedlock. Annoying. So I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna leave everything that we're covering today in the description box, but I wanted to end today's episode with a woman speaking to these kind of issues and her perspective on it. So I'm gonna drop this down, right? I'm gonna drop this down, yep. And then I'm going to bring this screen up. So let's present another screen. Share screen. Here we go. Oh, wait, let me get it ready first. Sorry, y'all. I'm a little rusty because it's been a week since I've been on here. But this video is called Hot Women Hate Nice Men. Okay. And the gentleman's pod, it's like I said, it's Sadia Khan is her name, but her channel is called Sadia Psychology. And it's a great channel. I think that you guys will like it a lot. But I'm gonna let this play, and she's gonna get into kind of what we've been discussing here today. But I want it to kind of like flow for you all. So I'm not gonna it's a good video, so I don't want to start it off right at the point where it's discussing what we're talking about, because it's all of those little things that Dr. Umar and the Daily Wrap-Up crew weren't saying that need to be said to kind of like give us a better feel of what's going on here and the dichotomy of man and woman having a family.
Anymore, because it feels like you're just projecting all the blame on someone else.
And you know what? It was so interesting. I have clients all the time, therapy clients. As soon as they say my ex is a narcissist, I know they're the narcissist. I know instantly that they're the narcissist, but they've just got a different form of narcissism. Their form of narcissism is becoming an excessive victim. So they'll say he was a narcissist. Why was he a narcissist? Well, he used to cheat on me all the time, and then I used to catch him, and then I used to, I still wanted to. I then got pregnant. I didn't tell him I was pregnant, and then I cancelled the pregnancy. And it's like, but he showed you everything. You still wanted to be with him. You still wanted to marry him. You still thought he was going to change. And now he's a narcissist because he won't change, even though he showed you everything. You like being a victim. You enjoy it. You like saying breadcrumbing. He was then doing, these buzzwords.
What is breadcrumbing?
A narcissist keyword. It just means giving girls a little bit of attention, but not full attention. Okay. So to keep her. So maybe he'll ghost her for a week and then give her a message and she'll be like, oh, look, he's breadcrumbing me. Okay. But you're the idiot for responding. Like,
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Take some ownership.
Like, no one can breadcrumb somebody who doesn't accept crumbs. It's only for those people who are begging for crumbs that accept breadcrumbing, but they don't want that conversation. They like to create this, but what if he's a covert narcissist? Or what if he's an overt? This terminology is so embarrassing to hear adults describe other adults as narcissists, rather than just saying, you know what, at that time I just had low self-esteem. I just accept anything at that time. I was an idiot. Or at that time I was just super lonely. And we've all been there. At that time I was super lonely. I just accepted it. And it's my own fault. I knew he was full of shit. And I knew he used to do this before. And he told me he cheated on an ex as well. My own fault. What can you do? We learn. That's self-awareness. But narcissism and is so childish. And to see that people have created a whole army of followers online simply by using that term is insane to me. But what can you do?
Yeah, I used to have a red flag when I'd interview people and someone would say, oh, I got screwed over by this person, or I got messed out of a business deal. Yeah. And that was always red flag. Because it's like, really? You're not going to take some ownership over that?
Every time I've lost money, it's been my fault. Because I trust, yes, of course, people can scam and this, that, and the other. But me, I was stupid at that point. I'm 100%, I was stupid. Or even if I've been hurt by somebody, it's something in me. But I also don't think there's anything wrong in getting things wrong in life. It's okay to accept that. At that time that I was dating a narcissist, maybe I was a bit overweight. I didn't really like how I looked. So I accepted a bit of attention from somebody who was wrong for me. Or maybe at that time I was out of a job. I didn't really like my life. So I just needed some company and I accepted this terrible person. No problem. But to blame it entirely on them and not on your engaging with that kind of behavior is so childish.
Okay, so we don't want to be the nice guy,
yes,
because sooner or later she's not going to respect you, and that comes from deep down, physical level, subconscious level. She ultimately is looking for someone who
she
can
will
protect.
Desexualize you. That's
Okay.
the key. Yeah,
Okay.
that's the key. You can be as nice as possible, but if you become the nice guy, you get desexualized. The key thing with nice men is not that they're too nice, is that they lack masculinity, and without that masculinity, women cannot be sexually invested in you. They can use you, and they can be your best friend, and they can be your girlfriend, but you will lose intimacy because
Which means no relationship eventually.
You're just flatmates.
There has to be something sexual there, otherwise there is no relationship. They go hand in hand.
They go hand in hand. Otherwise, you become like siblings. The key thing is when you remove intimacy from a relationship, you live like siblings. And what I mean by that is with your siblings, you love them because you're supposed to love them, but you actually hate them. Like you'll fight over a remote where you start beating them up, or they're the only people, if they eat your sandwich, you'll want to punch them. Like we don't get physical with our colleagues if they eat our sandwich. Sure. Siblings, we hate them because they're so intimately close to us, but there's no actual attraction or affection. Nobody really kisses and hugs their siblings. They do with their nieces and like a family, but not. Now, this is what couples turn into when there's no intimacy. You're stuck with this person for life. They're in your space all day, every day. They help themselves to everything you own, but you're not actually intimate in any way, so they're a nuisance. And that's what siblings, you get a sibling type relationship. So small things turn into big fights when it comes to siblings. The same thing with couples that are not sleeping together. I'll have a couple on the call, and the way they fight over just maybe the volume of the thing, and it's like, oh, you put the volume too loud on the Zoom call. I'm like, you two don't sleep together, do you? Because this is only how siblings fight. And the other thing to siblings is couples that don't sleep with each other that do this. So it's the desexualizing is really, really important. If you get desexualized in your relationship, you turn into a sister to a woman.
Wow. You've just explained why I don't like my brother and sister.
They're so annoying.
That's so weird. I've never heard anyone explain that.
Because you're stuck with them. You're stuck with them
like
for life.
Love without the intimacy.
Without affect. With your parents, you still kiss them, hug them, you tell them you love them all the time.
True.
Nieces and nephews, like you could snuggle them all day. It's amazing.
Children too.
They're amazing. But with siblings, you have all of the stuck together, all the intimacy, but none of the affection. So you end up hating each other.
It's so weird. I just thought I was.
So maybe, Dr. Umar, if you would have continued the sexual relationship with these baby mothers, maybe it would have been more amicable for you. Right? But if you promise and promise and promise things that never happen, then this is what you get. You get mad women in your stratosphere that want to tear you down, that have children that spawn into little devils that want to tear you down, you know? So it is very important. Intimacy is very important in a relationship.
Was a terrible person.
That's
terrible brother.
No, it's just natural.
You said something earlier about how if you're raised by the mother and you reject the father, then you go with all these kind of, I don't know.
Okay, now listen to this. This is where we're going to end the show, you all. Like I said, I'll be sure to drop a link to this video in the description. But listen to this, okay? Because this is spot on to what we are talking about with Dr. Umar and the Daily Wrap-Up crew, Black men, Black sons, Black daughters. This is what we're talking about here.
No, feminine energy traits. The other thing, I saw you on a show one time talking about the single mother raising you and how that's super dangerous because oftentimes her narrative will be, oh, your father did this and this and this and this. And she even sucks more of the potential masculinity out of a man.
Absolutely.
Can you talk about that? Because these days, it's super high. It's like 60% of all men are raised without father figures.
There's nothing more single-handedly more damaging to children's mental health than being raised by a single mother. And I have to say that out loud, honestly, and I would say this even if I became a single mother.
You must get so much hate by saying
I
that.
could care less.
That's why I love you.
Who knows? I might become a single mother. Right. I'm not saying this as like, oh, I'm holier than thou.
But we're supposed to cherish the single mothers for doing the impossible job. And you know, in America, if you're a victim, you're always right.
Yeah, that's it. The moment you make a mistake, that means you're right.
crazy how the woke culture seeps into our relationships and then causes men and women to not even like each other.
Horribly.
When it starts off as a victim narrative, it actually affects our romance, and then even
I don't like that he used the term woke culture. I don't like that term. I don't like how they use the word. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't think it's woke culture. I think it's just feminism. That's what I think it is. I think it's womanism, feminism. I think it's those things, but not woke. Or maybe they just have a different definition of what woke means. It's like ever since BLM, you know, everything is woke culture. No, some shit is just messed up.
even our procreation.
And the way they damage their children with zero guilt. And what I mean by this is so many moms come to me and they're like, oh, I don't allow access to the dad because he's a danger. Why is he a danger? Well, even if sometimes he is a danger, no problem. I do agree that sometimes a man is a danger. Maybe there's been some physical abuse or anything like that. I completely understand. But firstly, I can guarantee you he hit you before you had children. Your judgment made you go and then have children with a man that's aggressive. Who's to say that you might not pick a stepfather who's aggressive or who might even hit the children? Your poor judgment is then leaving your children now without access to their father, but with a woman that chooses badly. What is the biggest cause of children and child abuse? Stepfathers. What does that tell you about who's the danger to children? It's single mothers. It's single mothers that are the danger to children more than anything else, because stepfathers are a reflection of what the mother is choosing to put around the children. Plenty of evil men in the world, I completely understand. But as a parent, it's only my responsibility to protect my kids. It's only your responsibility to protect your kids. I don't care about other people's kids. You don't care about my kids. This is just life. So it's my job to protect them. So if children are being harmed by stepfathers or stepmothers, it's the biological parent's fault. Entirely the biological parent's fault. And we know that there's so many women out there that will say, I never let that guy's the father in because he was an alcoholic. He was this, he was that, he was that. But you chose him. So your selection is still the problem. Now we've got these children without biological fathers being exposed to more men of that woman's standard, more men of that woman's taste. Her taste is broken. And the worst thing is, this is every time a man comes to me and he's broken by his wife, he is being alienated from his children. He can't access his children. I'll say to him, what was your relationship with your father? Oh, my father was a narcissist. Who told you that? My mum said that. What did your mum do? No, my stepfather was a great mum. My dad, he was a piece of shit, blah, blah. Then we always and we dig deeper. We realize mum alienated the father and hated the father. And then what happens is he ends up selecting women that alienate fathers. They think it's normal to hate your dad. They create a culture in their own home where dads aren't respected because mum hated her dad, he hated his dad. And then they just create children who have no respect for fathers. And then when they're alienated, they're shocked. So when the men have been alienated from their fathers, usually through their mum's brainwashing, they attach to women with daddy issues, always, because they feel sympathy. They're like, yeah, my dad did that too. They bond over this stupid kind of bonding technique. My dad was a narcissist too. High five, let's get married. What do you think is going to happen?
So y'all, that is my video for today. My video for today is just, we circled back to my live from last week. You know, we talked about I said I was going to talk about Dr. Umar and whatever developments came out of him going after Mrs. Vegan. Now, a week ago, he was referring to her as Mrs. Vegan. This week, he's referring to her as evil vegan. So something is going on. I don't think that coming onto the internet and blasting your daughter, blasting your, your little girl about it, I don't think that is helpful to the situation, Dr. Umar. I think that you should stop doing that. It just seems counterproductive. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to have a relationship with these young women. So it would behoove you to be a bit more mature and figure out a way to be amicable in the situation, and making these videos isn't amicable. But I wonder, were you all trauma bonding in the beginning? Is that how you got these two ladies to have your babies out of wedlock? I just want to know, because you all were all in college as this was going on. I know my husband's baby's mother was in college when she was partying and acting a fool and doing bad things, that ended up getting her pregnant out of wedlock. So I wonder, was it a trauma dump session, and that's how you wrangled them into this tumultuous bickering and infighting between the three of y'all, and now y'all's children, and now even they have brothers and sisters. So this is going to affect them too, just like it affects my son. That he has an estranged sister out there that loves him and hates him at the same time, because they share a dad, but they don't share a mom. This is the dichotomy of my life. This is what I chose, and Dr. Umar, you chose and you made decisions too. It would have been nice if you would have just been forthright with everyone on the Daily Wrap-Up Crew podcast and just said these things, because now, people are using these things instead of it being a teachable moment. People are laughing at you and wishing more bad upon you for something that is so serious. This is your legacy. These are your daughters. This is your future. Who's going to take care of you when you go into an old folks home? It won't be the people on the internet that were giving you, 6 million views on a video. It's going to be your baby Smurf and your baby vegan, So think about that, Dr. Umar. It's not going to be people on the internet coming to take care of you when you're an old man. It's going to be these two young ladies, and these two young ladies deserve for you to act better than how you've been acting online. And I think that if baby Smurf is clout chasing, she's learned it from you. The way you used to clout chase, Tariq Nasheed. But that's a story for another day. I hope that you all have been woefully entertained by the clips that I have pieced together for you all today. Like I said a million times, I'm going to make sure to give everybody credit in the description box. Go and click the links, give them views, give them likes, finish the videos. Sadia's channel is very, very, very informative. I watch her all the time. I think that she's a wealth of great information, and I think it's helpful to you if you're in a situation that is tumultuous, if you are, in a love affair, if you have a baby's father that you all are estranged. Listen to her. Maybe, there's a jewel in there that'll help you figure out a better way to move forward with that person that you're not getting along with so well. So that's it for me today, Rosebuds. I love you all. Thank you all for stopping by, liking, and subscribing. And I will see you all in the next video. If you all have made it to this point, please drop a rosebud in the comments. It makes me so happy. All right. Bye, y'all. I can't get it to stop. Okay, here we go. Bye, y'all.